We wrap up our Hall of Fame salute right here on Locked On Spurs. This time, we're going to give it to Gregg Popovich, Becky Hammon, and Pau Gasol.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great Friday, and it is a huge, huge weekend for the Spurs. Big weekend, Hall of Fame. Here we go. Multiple Spurs are going into the Hall of Fame. And this time, we're going to put in the spotlight Popovich, Hammon, and Pau Gasol. Then later on in the show, we're going to ask which other former Spurs could possibly get into the Hall of Fame. That really opens things up. Hey, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, Ken's 5 Plus app. The list goes on and on. You guys are the everydayers. And you can tell I am in full off-season mode. This is it. This was my off-season right here. Just t-shirt, cap, jacket. We're good to go. But hey, speaking of it, off-season and the Hall of Fame, yeah, big day tomorrow, or big weekend for the Spurs starting today. They're going to be the press conference is going to be held today. Then tomorrow's the big night. Several events throughout the weekend, and Popovich, rightfully so, gets into the Hall of Fame. Should have been there a long time ago. Hammon gets in again. Should have been in there a long time ago. And of course, Pau Gasol as well. He spent a few years in San Antonio. But the point is, yeah, I mean, talk about a chapter in Spurs history. If you thought Tim Duncan getting in was huge, or Robinson or Manu last year was huge, this might be even bigger for the franchise. This could signal, I mean, I think we all know it, but this could signal the maybe sooner than later end of the Popovich era. I mean, what better way for him to go out? Maybe not next season or the season after, but I mean, my goodness, if he looks back in the last couple seasons or 3 seasons, that's how he caps off his career with a Hall of Fame entry. Not too shabby. There's Becky Hammon, finally gets the recognition she has. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. For her to have her name etched into eternity, basketball eternity. And, of course, Pau for what he did with San Antonio, and, of course, for the NBA and the international game. But you just think about that. I mean, there should be an entire wing dedicated to the San Antonio Spurs. There really should, out in Springfield, Mass. I mean, you look at the names there: Robinson, Duncan, Ginobili, now Parker, Popovich, Hammon, Pau. I mean, should I continue? Okay, sure, I'll continue. Iceman, Artis Gilmore, George Karl. The list, I mean, that's just amazing. It's a credit to the franchise. And for as much as fans, especially San Antonio, hate that the national media doesn't give the Spurs their respect, does it really matter when the ultimate distinction of respect to the San Antonio Spurs, and of course the city where it's headquartered in, the Basketball Hall of Fame? I mean, those guys, Hall of Fame committee there, really recognize the glory that is coming out in San Antonio. Might be a while before there'll be another big night in Springfield, Mass for the Spurs, but as far as this weekend is concerned, you better be soaking every second in, because it might be quite some time before we see this type of San Antonio Spurs star power headlining the class of fill in the blank year. I mean, it might be a while before we do get to celebrate it again. But yeah, let's go ahead and reflect on Popovich and Becky Hammon. And just in case you're wondering why we're not talking about Tony Parker, go back a couple days. We did an entire show dedicated to Tony Parker, but today is for Hammon and Popovich. Let's go to bring in our guest. He is a Hall of Famer, I found out. Yeah, I found out. Let's go to bring him in. He is Tim Duncan of the San Antonio Spurs. Oh, wait. You're not Tim Duncan. Hey, wait, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Whoa, no, I'm sorry. It's Nick Mantas. It's Nick Mantas. All kidding aside, Nick Mantas joined us here on Locked On Spurs. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Nick__Mantas. He is here to discuss the Hall of Fame and Popovich and Hammon. And what a weekend for the Spurs, huh? I mean, this is a weekend. You came to San Antonio at the right time. not only is the beginning of the Wemby era, but you get to seeing the closing of the Big Three era now with Popovich and Parker going in this weekend. What a time for you to be alive in San Antonio, Nick. So, but Nick Popovich, let's start off with Pop.
Okay.
I mean, right, deservingly so.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have been in there years ago. And I think, Nick, if you could help explain to the listeners or viewers in this case, coaches can get in almost at any time. They don't have to be retired like players, correct?
Correct. And that's one of the things that's so interesting about it being, taking until he, a couple years ago gets the all-time winningest coach record and now is, signing another contract to be in the league for another 5 years, which is so fascinating to see his longevity. And it is almost like a renewed sense of energy and excitement as he goes into these next 5 years. But I think for a lot of people, it was something that we all knew was coming because of his impact on the game and what he's been able to do, not just for the international game, but for, players all over to really look at San Antonio as a powerhouse when it comes to the NBA. And I think that what's so fascinating about from the perspective that he's kind of shared is that he didn't think that it was deserving for him to even have it. This is not something that he's looked back on and said, I should be in there. Because you should go. This should go to guys like MJ and Magic and that level of Hall of Fame talent. And so his perspective is that he's not deserving, which shows the amount of ways in which he's now, I believe in his older age, getting even more humble than he's probably even been before. So I think we saw it coming, and it's exciting to see that he's getting the flowers that he deserves.
You pretty much summed up his speech possibly later on today. That's probably going to be his speech. Why am I here? This is for your MJs. This is for your TDs. This is for your soon maybe LeBron James down the road or Red Auerbach, not him. So, but I mean, nobody should be shocked. And that's what he's been saying since he got nominated. He talked about it during the regular season. Now that he's set for induction. So, expect the same out of Pop this weekend. He's going to be saying, I shouldn't be here, as Nick mentioned. Nick, we could play a bingo card right now. How many times he's going to mention probably Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Tony Parker, who's going in with him, Manu, who's already in, and the Holt family. I mean, you could just go on. He's probably going to defer a lot of the attention from him to those who helped him and was a part of his coaching journey. I
wouldn't be surprised if he didn't mention Becky as well.
For sure. And
the influence that he's gotten from her and the staff has gotten from her to have her perspective on the organization and now see how much success she's having. And now for her to also be part of this class. So go ahead and fill out the bingo card. Make sure you write Becky in there as well.
For sure.
She's definitely going to be mentioned by him.
Yeah. And don't forget to throw in Nick Mantas too. Just in your bingo card. Might be the free space though. But all kidding aside, Popovich, his resume speaks for itself. Multiple NBA titles as a coach, all-star head coach, Olympic gold medal coach, the influence in the NBA game, and of course the international game, the influx of international players and his development. Must be easy, for Popovich when he came into the league, when you have Robinson and Elliott and Avery Johnson, and then you get Tim Duncan soon after. But would you say that perhaps the recent era of Spurs, pre-Wemby and after the Big Three era, so maybe link it into DeMar and LMA era, perhaps that's when we really get to see the type of coaching he is? Because if that's the case, then he's now showing patience, understanding, development, and actually being a coach for a few seasons already, instead of just rolling the ball and saying, okay, Timmy, do what you got to do.
And that's one of the things I think that's really interesting about the growth of a coach is knowing how you can handle adversity, not just between losses and between the changing of regimes as well, but through generations, things get different when you're talking to different athletes about different things. Excuse me. And so I think it just comes into full focus and full view of the way in which he's able to work with so many different people in different ways. And knowing that you're going to be able to reach so many different people by getting an understanding of who they are. And it shows now, even as we go into this next chapter, as you were mentioning, and we go into even further into his career in these last 5 years, which will most likely, obviously be his last contract. We'll see how he handles this, generation of players that he has now going into even guys who are younger than Wemby who are going to come into the league. So it's going to be exciting to see. And I think it shows that his longevity and his ability to still have success throughout his entire time in San Antonio is a testament to his ability to be able to connect with so many different people at different age groups. So
I want to know why now. Why did he pick now? I'm pretty sure he's been offered the invitation to, hey, your time to shine, Pop. Get in the class of fill in the blank in the past years.
Right.
But he's deferred. I really thought that he would commit when Tim Duncan did it. I thought for sure that'll be it. You're going with Timmy, the guy that you still toast to at dinners, that he, according to Popovich, what he says. So I really thought that's when he was going to do it, but he didn't do it. I said, okay, what's up? Part of me thinks that maybe he was already set sailing until the Spurs win the lottery. He's like, whoa, hang on here. Hang on. We got some kid named Wemby coming here. I'll delay it a little longer.
Right.
But I want to know why. Is it simply just because he's going in with the last piece of the big three and now they're all together? Just what motivated him to pick this year when, as Nick and I said at the beginning of the show, he could have gone in a long time ago. So I'm very curious, and I hope he gets to talk about that later today or if not tomorrow during his speech. Do you think he's going to cry? Do you think he'll cry?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I do. I think he's going to cry because I think he's going to see the people in front of him who have had such a big influence on his career. He's most likely going to see Timmy there. He's going to see obviously Manu is going to be, and then obviously with TP and the rest of the guys, you have to. All those legends are going to have are definitely going. And I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up. I'm not sure if anybody from the current roster is going. If anybody's heading out there right now from San Antonio has flown out, but. Haven't checked any of the flights, but when it comes to what people are going to have an impact on his ability to share his speech, I think seeing the guys who have meant so much to him and his organization is what's going to really get at his heartstrings, and I think that's going to maybe pull out some emotions, which is what we all love to see. You love to see somebody reflect and let a little bit of that out, which is healthy.
He is Nick Mantas of iHeart Radio. He's going to brag about that in just a few minutes. And make sure to follow him on Twitter at Nick__Mantas. Give him a follow. Good to chat with. I mean, not just Spurs, I'm pretty much everything. Talk to him about all sports. He'll chat you up. And when we get back, we're going to continue our chat about the Spurs into the Hall of Fame. Shift gears. Talk about Becky now. Finally, she gets in. And then we're going to put Nick to the test. Which potentially past Spurs could be making their way to the Hall of Fame down the road, right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, I want to talk to you about Bird Dogs. Look, Bird Dogs make you look good. A Bird Dog stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. You got to get yourself some Bird Dogs right now. Bird Dog shorts do the exact same thing like Lululemon, but fit way better. They fit way better than regular shorts and are made of a stiff, restricting cotton. You don't want that. You want Bird Dogs because Bird Dogs fix that issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks like just like khaki, but stretches so you do way more, yet look and have a slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Bird Dog uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabrics that keeps you cool and dry all day long. You got to get yourself some Bird Dogs. Look, I have myself a pair of shorts. I got myself a pair of the sweatpants. They are really, really great. They fit well. I use them daily. So you want to go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or enter promo code LockedOnNBA for a free white tech hat. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or promo code LockedOnNBA for a free white tech cap. You don't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. And we are back right here on Locked On Spurs with Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. Wait, that's not Tim. Dang it.
Sorry. You got the wrong guy. I'm sorry. The connection. Yeah, I don't know if you made it. Did I click the wrong link? Am I supposed to be in here? Am I?
I'll get into that. I'm just messing with Nick, everybody. I know it's Nick. It's Nick Mantas of iHeart Radio. Follow him on Twitter at Nick_Mantas and on Instagram because he has this game that he plays. Apparently, you spin a wheel and you kind of make a correlation He's going to brag about that in a while. I saw it already. It's pretty hilarious. And Nick gets all jazzed up, gets all hyper, and leaping off his chair.
You got to bring the energy. Got to bring the juice. Yeah.
But, before we shift to Becky, the quick thing about Pop, I know you're talking about he'll get emotional. I think he will. You saw him get a little emotional when he was talking about Timmy at Timmy's jersey retirement. And, of course, when Timmy did officially announce that he's retiring. Mm-hmm. And when Popovich was the first one to speak about it to media in San Antonio, I mean, seriously, go on YouTube right now and look it up. Popovich is in tears talking about Tim Duncan hanging it up. Yeah. Same thing with Tony. So I think he probably will well up a bit. Wouldn't be surprised, though, if Becky does well up a bit. Let's talk about her now. My biggest gripe was that now she got in. For those of y'all who don't know, she's been nominated year after year after year after year. During her WNBA playing days, as soon as after it was over, she was eligible and nothing. Yep. Now she's finally getting in. Look, she's in. Everybody should be clapping a bit. I thought she was going to get in last year with Manu. I thought she could get with Manu. I said, okay, for sure, that's going to be with her and Manu. I mean, it makes sense,
Right.
It got passed up, but she's in. A little bit of a sting though. I kind of didn't like that, Nick, that that she got passed up multiple times. But your thoughts on Becky getting in?
Yeah, I think that's what we all kind of looked at as a little bit of a multiple snubs throughout her entire time. And when we think about it, it's almost been a decade since she last played in the WNBA here in San Antonio, and so. To be a 6-time WNBA All-Star, to average 13 points in your career, and a field goal percentage of 43 or 44 or 43.8. So I just round up to 44. Yeah. But to be such a talented guard, to be such a force for women's basketball, and then to be such a pioneer and to lead the way for female coaches in the NBA. Not just working in the medical staff, but working as an actual basketball coach. To be one of the first one as a full-time assistant. To have her mind as part of that coaching staff, part of the bench. To have her basketball skills, to be able to educate this next generation of guards has been such an asset to the Spurs organization. And so to see her go through all of that and to now be, inducted as a player is bittersweet. You're excited about the induction. You're excited for her. You're excited for the impact of her on women's basketball, the skills that she was able to lead the league in. And to see what she's able to do in coaching now, and to already have a WNBA championship under her belt as a coach, it's extremely impressive. It's an extremely high bar setting for women to achieve in their own careers, and so. But to see it happen so many years later after her playing career, I think is a testament to the way in which we still have some work to do. Yeah. When it comes to how we view women's basketball. We still have some work to do when it comes to how we view women's athletes altogether. And I think this is another moment of us realizing that, we might not be exactly where we want to be yet, but at least we're giving those who need to receive the recognition of their incredible skills for this league, their moment and their shine. And that's what I think this weekend will hopefully be about. Not necessarily the snubs, but more about, okay, finally this has happened and this is a beautiful moment. So what are you most excited about when it comes to Becky's speech?
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to say that as soon as you're done here. I think I'm anticipating her to talk about the man that she's getting in with, and that's Popovich. I think she's going to have a big paragraph or two about what Pop has meant for her in making this journey to the Hall of Fame. She made it very clear that she took a lot of Pop's lessons to the Las Vegas Aces. She got injured in her final years with the San Antonio Stars, the San Antonio Stars, and she just volunteered to be an assistant coach, kind of like an internship, basically. And she turned into a valuable asset for the roster and the assistant coach. She technically did make NBA history when Pop got thrown out, for a game, and she took over for a head coaching job. So she did that. She led the Summer Spurs 1 year to the Summer League title. And if you go look at some video of her in coaching mode, my goodness, I mean, you see no drop off between intensity, bringing the fire, motivating the guys. So she did a really good job. So I'm expecting her perhaps to well up a bit, as well. I would love to hear her thoughts on finally getting in after so many years of getting passed up.
Right.
I'm pretty sure she'll even deflect that too. She'll probably say, no, those other women that made it ahead of me for the WNBA category, yeah, they deserve it. So I expect a lot of that too. And you know what I really like too, Nick, is that even though, she's no longer, a member of the Spurs family, the Spurs fan base still treat her as family, even though she wears the Las Vegas Aces colors now and is in a different league.
Right.
Anything Becky Hammon related, San Antonio Spurs fans still cheer her on. There was I don't know if you were in town, Nick, at the time, but there was a big mural dedicated to her downtown San Antonio. Cool. Unfortunately, it got painted over, but it was there for quite a while, and still gets the cheers when she's in town. I'll tell you a quick fun Becky Hammon story. I would maybe really be a fan of her. So I'm at an AT&T Center game. Well, then it was called the AT&T Center.
The Frost.
Now it's now the Frost Center. So I'm there pre-game, and I'm watching the guys warm up, sitting by myself, and Becky comes out of the tunnel. And there's some fans that have courtside seats, and they got their seats early, and they're yelling, "Hey, Becky, blah, blah, blah," going crazy, clapping for her. She stops in the middle of her stride, turns to them, smiles and waves, walks up to them to their seats. And from the distance where I was at, I couldn't hear, what they were talking about, but definitely you could tell it was a great conversation, really laughing. So she tells them, or she signals, okay, well, I got to go back to work, she got to do some player development. As she's walking away, going back to the court, she turns around and looks at the fans one more time, and she goes, "Hey, by the way, do you mind if I have a swig of that?" And she wanted to drink a beer. So she really fan engagement. I loved it. She goes, "Yeah, give me one of those too."
That's awesome.
So awesome. Look great with the fan base. And it's good to see her finally getting it, and well deserved. Her WNBA record is just incredible. Which she did a lot with the Stars, but look at her New York Liberty record. Yeah. And this is from somebody who didn't get drafted. Not many people don't know that she went undrafted in the WNBA.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Yeah.
Well, there's hope for you yet, Nick. Maybe you can walk onto the Spurs and
my 6 foot height, I think, would put me, smaller than Trae Young at this point. So I don't know if that's even something that would be negotiable when it comes to my skills on the court. Yeah. But one can always dream or have dreams and then wake up and realize reality later on. So well, the reality is now we got to move on. But great weekend for the Spurs. Pop's going in, Tony's going in, Becky's going in, but Pau Gasol is also going in. When we get back, we're gonna give a little love to Pau Gasol for his time during with the Spurs, and then challenge Nick. Ooh,
can he come up with some names of possible former Spurs that could be next in line to make the Hall of Fame right here on Locked On Spurs? But before we do that, I got to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Let's go to give Nick a break here, get him off camera here while he gets ready to make his,
I'm excited.
His decisions for who the next Spurs possibly could be. All right, Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, a local proud sponsor of Locked On Spurs. If you need a pick-me-up, if you need just something different, maybe a dairy alternative. Maybe you want to take it easy, or maybe you want a latte. Go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, located in the Stone Oak area. For those of y'all in San Antonio, open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's near 281 and 1604. You got to go there. Friendly staff, good service, great menu. And speaking of the menu, they have their signature drink, which is called the Mudslinger. Dark chocolate, espresso, steamed milk, really, really good caramel. It's really good. I recommend it. They also have the Alien, which is an homage to Victor Wembanyama. It's a full can of Red Bull, green apple, kiwi. It's really, really good. You got to try it. They also have the OG. So if you're old like me back in the 70s and 80s, if you remember, they used to have this store called the Orange Julius in the old school 80 malls. Well, Mudslingers recreated that drink, and they call it the OG. Or should I say I named it the OG. Mudslingers was kind enough to let me name the new drink. It is there. It's a big hit. You really got to try it. People say that it tastes exactly like it was back in the 70s. Yeah. I gotta stock up. I think I gotta go and just stuff my refrigerator with them because I love me some OG OJ. So yeah, if you want to follow Mudslingers, make sure to go to them on Facebook, TikTok, Threads. Pick a platform there, Instagram, Twitter at Mudslinger SATX. That's all one word. Once again, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You got to go there. They have like almost like now daily new drinks. They have like a banana flavor one now that's all souped up. You got to go try it. Mudslingers. Life is too short for bland coffee. Let's go and bring him back. He is Nick Mantas, iHeart Radio, very, very own. He's been making the rounds in San Antonio. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, as well as iHeart Radio as well, and his Instagram and his new game. I guess, is it a game or is it more of
we can call it a game.
It's called, okay.
Yeah, we call it Fair to Compare. Fair number 2 to compare. You can find it on TikTok. I've been posting videos of it on my Instagram as well. I'm actually going to post one later today because we're doing another recording of some ones. Yeah. We have some more ones that we recorded earlier this week as well. And so we're actually switching up the format a little bit and just to kind of get a little bit more of fan interaction and engagement. So, but fair
I like
to
it.
compare. Thank you.
I like it.
Check it out on TikTok and make sure you follow me on Instagram at Nick Mantas TV. And we'll get into all that a little bit later. But so
we'll do all that.
We'll go ahead and come back with you wanted to mention, which was it? The
Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol.
So, look, he's likely going to be getting in like as a Laker because that's where he really made his path in the NBA with winning those titles with the Lakers and Kobe and whatnot. But he did spend some time in San Antonio, and he wore the silver and black. The biggest thing that I just wish it was just too late, too soon, too little. It was just the back end of his career. He wasn't the same Pau Gasol we saw with the Lakers, but nevertheless put up good numbers. Double-figure scoring. Really was a good presence on the veteran side. He had his good games, but again, just pushing the fact that not only did what he did, he meant for the game, not just San Antonio, the Lakers, or even Memphis internationally. That's there's no doubt he's probably on the Mount Rushmore of the best international players ever. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if you've seen the Redeem Team. I
have not.
What was it? I believe it's Netflix who made it.
I think it was Netflix
documentary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I watched that the other day, and it is fascinating to watch. Not just his relationship with Kobe Bryant and the way in which USA went up against Spain and stuff, but his influence on the game itself at the international level. It was fully documented. Well, not fully, but it was definitely documented to the point where they knew, okay, Spain's going to be who we got to watch out for. Yeah. Obviously, Argentina with Mano and everything, we got to be careful of that. But Spain is who we want to come for. And Kobe Bryant went at his head. In that first meeting, you can watch that on the documentary if you want to. But when it comes to, how we can look at Pau as a Spur, I think when you have a player who has that level of international influence, who can bring that level of skill from, his time as a Laker, then we went to Chicago, and then, coming from Chicago to San Antonio, I think international fans will continue to follow him throughout everywhere that he's gone.
For sure. Yeah.
And in so doing that, it's just another international guy in San Antonio who's raising the profile to international talent to say, this is where you can have some incredible success. I mean, it wasn't, the same as when Timmy and those guys were doing it all and stuff. It wasn't, the banner raising in any way, but at the same time, you're able to see that he was, like you mentioned, was having double-digit seasons in scoring and was having some great performances. And I think it was a good way for him to be in a system that really prioritizes players from international backgrounds having as much fun as they want to and playing their level of game and moving the ball around with in the ease and a fluid motion. And so I think you can definitely consider him a Spur for what he meant to bringing even more international talent or more international interest to the Spurs. How do you see him when it comes to whether or not you could consider him a Spur as well?
I consider it very similar to George Karl. Last year, George Karl got in, but people remember him from Seattle days, his Denver days. But he was an original Spur. He wore the ABA colors of San Antonio, and he was one of the first ones. And I remember I was at Manu's Hall of Fame induction press conference. And, we're getting up, we're setting up and finding my seat and get the program. I'm like, oh, yeah, he was a Spur. That was my reaction. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. He was a Spur. Yeah. So you forget him. And I think that's what's going to happen with Pau this weekend. People are like, oh, yeah, he was a Spur.
Right.
It was just the back of his career.
Right.
I think you're probably going to hear a couple of jokes either from Pau's side or Parker's side, because wasn't Pau kind of Tony's nemesis on the international stage, Team France and Team Spain? It was Team Spain constantly just beating down Team France, stopping them. I think maybe 1 year Team France got the best of Team Spain, but for the most part, it was pretty much like the Spurs and Suns back in the 2000s. Spurs just owning the Suns. It was the same thing. Team Spain pretty much owned Team France, and that was with Parker. And I also think, too, there might be some laughter about that, as well as how they perhaps share some time together as a Spur, Parker and Gasol. Yeah. Two of the best international players ever to come to San Antonio, or at least let alone the NBA, on the same squad. So I think you're going to hear a lot of that. And I think he should, and I think he will give a hat tip to Pop, another guy that he's going in with, as well as Parker. And, I'm pretty sure Manu's going to be there and Timmy's going to be there. And so a lot of the Spurs staff will be there. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a good night. So, absolutely. He may be going in as a Laker, but, you can't forget, he did contribute to the Spurs and that Spurs culture, keeping it alive and showing how much the Spurs value the international game. But as I said in the intro, Nick, Mr. Mantas, this might be it for a star-powered Spurs Hall of Fame classes. Last year, Manu headlined it. A few years ago, it was Timmy. Now you're seeing Tony, Pop, and Becky, and, obviously Pau as well. But this might be it. They might get real light or not at all anymore. So I challenge you, Nick.
Okay.
Give me a name or two that you think could possibly be mixed in to a class, Hall of Fame class in the future, and that wore silver and black. Who do you got?
I think I'll go with, and everybody knows who knows me knows that I think I know you're those who are watching those who are watching this on the video.
I wonder who Nick's gonna pick here. Here it comes.
Tilt my camera this way, just a tiny little bit. You can see there is an Arizona A helmet right behind me, because that's where I did my undergraduate degree, right? And so if you think about all the legendary players who played at the University of Arizona, then had incredible careers in the NBA, and then were able to win not only championships for the Spurs, but were able to be all-stars as well. One comes to mind very, very quickly for me, and that's Sean Elliott.
I knew it.
And so I know that people can make the argument that he maybe didn't have the live up to the greatest potential because of his kidney and then, the end of his career and stuff. But I think that, things happen for a reason. And Sean Elliott's impact, not just on the Spurs as a player, but then now his impact as a broadcaster and his face of the organization, pretty much when it comes to different introduction ceremonies, and different videos. And now he's, even when Frost takes over the arena, he's there for that and the introduction for that. And so I think when it comes to maybe down the line, him being one of the, maybe it'll be highlighted by somebody bigger like LeBron or Steph Curry, and then you'll have an older version of Sean Elliott being helped into the arena later on in his life, and say you should recognize his impact on the NBA and his impact on that championship team. And I think that's who I'm going to go with when it comes to first players. But who do you think should be on there?
I got three.
Okay,
I got three. And I'm gonna start off on a good foot with you, Nick. You are the guest, so we got to treat you right here. I'm gonna go with another Arizona guy, Steve Kerr.
Of course.
Okay, I think Steve Kerr gets in
as a player or as a coach.
As a coach, I think as a coach. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, because if you go with the player route, then that means it opens up the argument for Robert Horry. Then that really opens the door for him. There is some speculation. I think
we're an argument against Robert Horry that we don't know about.
I think there's two. I think it's very divided, but that's for another discussion on Locked On Spurs.
Yeah. The comments are flying off the hinges at this point after that. But go ahead.
But I think Steve Kerr, former Spur, will get in as a coach. Who else I got on my list? DeMar DeRozan. I think DeMar DeRozan.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Look at. I think the baseline is. Look, I'm not trying to knock Naismith Hall of Fame, but
the bar is being lowered. The bar is definitely.
The bar
that's why Charles
has
Barkley
been
doesn't like
lowered.
it. He's commented on it in the hand, and so is Deion Sanders when it comes to the Hall of Fames. Like he thinks that people are just letting in just to be let in.
Exactly. Tim Hardaway got in last year. I'm not knocking Timmy. Tim Hardaway, UTEP, two-step, all that stuff was good, great.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Hall of Fame worthy, And so I got Steve Kerr. I got DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
This one might shake the trees a bit.
Oh.
I got LaMarcus Aldridge.
How?
I got LaMarcus Aldridge.
Please make that argument for break down that argument.
Okay. First of all, the bar. I'm gonna start off with that. The bar is set low.
Okay.
Multiple All-Stars, playoff appearances, represented Team USA. He wore the silver, the USA colors. I think Nick, you may have to correct me on this. I think he won a medal with Team USA. I'm not sure whether it be the Olympic stage or like one of those Eurobasket FIBA, tournaments.
Okay.
I believe he did. I'm pretty sure the fans will grill me for that, or they'll leave those ugly comments again on YouTube. You don't know anything about the Spurs, do you? What else? I think he gets in. I think his resume is okay. What he did in Portland was pretty good. Tim Hardaway didn't win a title. Oh, well, let me rephrase that. I think he did. Did he win one with Miami or with Dallas? I'm gonna look that up real fast.
So no,
I'm gonna look that up real fast. But I mean, you had a very grimace look when I said LMA. Why is that?
I just didn't think of him in that light of Hall of Fame. I think there's a lot of people who maybe look at him as far as his abilities as a player were great. Obviously multiple All-Stars, and like you've mentioned, and his impact on the game was great as far as the big man position. As the big man position, I think was kind of in a transitional mode. I think he was definitely part of that. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of people, especially when it comes to basketball altogether, who look at him. I want to say he did not win a medal.
He did not.
He was part of the team that lost in that Allen Iverson team that lost. I
think Popovich was an assistant coach on that squad.
He was an assistant coach on that squad. I remember it was a legendary Pistons coach who was the head coach. Larry Brown was the head coach. He just wanted guys to kind of do his own way and do his own thing, which we all know that Allen Iverson did not enjoy, even when they were together in Philadelphia. And so it's interesting to see guys from that generation who were kind of the in-between guys, who were going into transition from the Jordans and the AIs to, into now. And I kind of look at LaMarcus Aldridge as somebody who was there. He was great while he was there, but I don't think his impact was really crossing the bar into Hall of Fame levels. That's my personal opinion.
First of all, Tim Hardaway did not win I thought he won a title with Miami, but he didn't. He got his jersey retired by Miami. That's right.
Copy.
Now, remember, it is the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
Not the NBA Hall of Fame.
True.
Or the Olympic Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So you look at his Basketball Hall of Fame, it's not too shabby. So he's a 7-time All-Star NBA. I'm reading his bio right here. 7-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second team, 3-time All-NBA third team, All-Rookie team. Olympic technically has an Olympic run in his belt, under his belt. We forget what he did at UT Austin. Third team All-American, first team All Big 12. Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, Big 12 All Defensive Team, and then McDonald's All American.
I'll see your LaMarcus Aldridge.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go finish.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Okay, no, go ahead. And of course, what he did with Portland, deep playoff runs and whatnot. I think he gets nominated, but I don't think he's perhaps first ballot. How's that?
Yeah, I could see him going in later. I could definitely see him maybe going in later. But if we're talking Spurs greats and you want to compare him,
okay, but wait. I don't want to get you off your. I can't let this out of my head here now. You had this reaction for LMA, but how come you didn't react this way with DeMar?
No, because you kept going. Because you kept.
Oh,
you
okay.
kept
I thought you were a DeMar fan. DeMar gets in.
You kept going into your next
LMA.
Well. Right, and so I was like, okay, I heard the first one, and then I heard DeMar, and then I heard LMA, and I'm just like, okay, all right. This is an interesting. I was like, okay, what else is coming after that? The guy at the taco shop. Like, who else are you putting in your list and stuff like that? Because if you're putting LMA in, you got to put Bruce Bowen in. If you're talking about that level of basketball, the 8-time all defensive player, 3-time NBA champ, the guy who literally would shut down you have a better player.
You have a better case for LMA than you do with Bruce Bowen.
No, sir.
Yes, you do. I think so.
See, I think that when you were starting to work
as we flip up tables,
right? As we both flip our flip our tables over. So we will generally, agree to disagree on this, obviously. But at the same time, if you're not putting Bruce Bowen in for his ability to be an absolutely a defensive juggernaut,
right?
And the things that he was able to do and be part of 3 championship teams. His ability you can only look at it as an offensive Hall of Fame. If that's what you're looking at as an offensive Hall of Fame, if you don't think about the defensive side of things, then
I brought up some defensive stats for LMA.
Say it again.
I brought up some defensive stats for LMA.
Sure you did. But at the same time, I think you have to literally look at the players all together. And when it comes to the all-time Spurs players who are not in right now, that's that's what we're talking about, right? Yeah. If you don't have Bruce Bowen before LMA. I'm talking about as far as like who should go in next. I think Bruce Bowen. I would put Bruce Bowen ahead of Sean Elliott. That's where I'm seeing.
Oh, you're no. I love you, Bruce. I love you, Bruce. How much did Bruce pay you to say all this stuff? I want to know how much did Bruce slip you before you came on Locked On Spurs? Is that why you were rushing? Oh, thanks for the payment, Bruce.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no comment on that. No comment.
But it is, and again, I think Barkley hit it on the nose. I'm glad you brought it up. The standard has been lowered of late, and I do kind of hope it gets raised soon. Yeah, because when you think Hall of Fame, you're thinking like Tim Duncan, Popovich, Kobe, Dirk, Dwayne Wade, like that level. Yeah, again, no knock on Tim Hardaway or those who kind of got in. You're like, hey, what? I'm pretty sure you could go down the Hall of Fame inductees right now, and you'll probably have a few of those. Huh? Yeah, he's in there.
There's gonna be some a lot of huhs in there. Like, what? So
my moment would be like, why isn't Nick Mantas in here? That's how I'm curious to say
why Jeff Garcia is not in some San Antonio Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right. Yeah. With the Hall of Fame wearing jackets in the middle of the summer. Yeah, that'll be my Hall of Fame there.
You make your decisions for what you need in your air conditioning, my friend. Okay, don't let anybody tell you different.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I have air conditioning on. That's why it's a little cold in here.
There we go.
But the point is that there's so many former Spurs that could possibly make it in. We're missing kind of the other guy. I don't know if it's on solid ground anymore. Kawhi Leonard.
Oof.
That's on shaky ground a bit, in my opinion.
So I don't want to be hunted down in the streets or chased.
Just don't give your address. Don't give your address.
I won't give any addresses and stuff. But that is a very interesting argument, and I think
he gets in.
I think cases can be made for it. Yeah. I think he's not. I don't think he's inducted as a Spur though.
No. He's inducted as a Clipper. If he stays a Clipper.
Or you can make the induction as he only played a little bit in Toronto, so never mind. I'll take that back.
No. He's been wanting to go home since day one. He'll want to be in.
He'll want to go in as
some sort of LA team or even if he's wearing a Kings jersey down the road or something.
That's Sacramento, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's going to be a California guy one way or another.
Going to be a California guy somehow, some way in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely.
It started off kind of like a sure bet with Kawhi, but now it's kind of like, does he even play in the NBA anymore? That's what it feels like now. Does he even play?
Yeah.
So, but something look, he made the NBA top 75 recently.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised now. I mean, that's a sign of things to come. Spurs fans flip their tables now to say, like, what? Blasphemy. Get him out of here.
Did LMA make the top 75 or?
No, he did not.
Okay. Just curious.
He did.
Just curious.
Of course, yeah.
I just wanted to know that.
Does Bruce Bowen make it? Just curious.
I don't know if he did. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna comment on that either.
For those who don't know, Nick and I are neighbors, so I'm gonna have to ask for a room change. He's gonna be hunting me down now.
Exactly. We're gonna need different floors now. We can't be on the same floor anymore. Yeah.
But no, it's a great topic to have. I mean, there's so many former Spurs that wore the colors that could possibly be in the Hall of Fame down the road. You know, the one guy that we did not bring up that I think is likely a sure bet is R.C. Buford as an executive. I think he'll get in.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very possible.
Yeah. I think R.C. Buford definitely get in as under the executive or whatever category that fits into. Yeah. Front office, something like that. Yeah. He'll get in. But hey, we're done talking. We want to hear from you. But before we let you go, as we mentioned earlier, Nick has been making the rounds lately. He's getting popular in San Antonio now. Nick, you were a guest recently on the Mike Taylor show on YouTube. How did that go? What's going on with iHeart? And go ahead and tell us more about the Instagram. What you got cooking, man? You're everywhere now in San Antonio.
I'm trying to do my best to be, a more of a presence here in San Antonio, obviously with trying to reach out to as many people as possible.
Oh, and by the way, thank you for the shout outs during the Mike Taylor spots. I appreciate that. Yeah. I got worried. Somebody told me about that. I'm like, what? Let me go look at this.
Right.
I was like, hey, look at Nick.
And so that was kind of like our San Antonio connection. The fact that, he reached out to me and he was saying, hey, really like what you're doing when it comes to not just Locked On Spurs, but when it comes to, your the Fair to Compare show and stuff.
That's
and
fun.
He's like, it seems like it's really great. And he actually confused me with somebody else who is a broadcaster here in the area. I believe I want to say it was somebody I think who works at KSAT, David Elder. He's a tall, dark-haired guy. He has like facial hair as well, and he does the.
Yeah, you don't look nothing like David Elder though.
and so I think he confused me with him, which is funny. And so but then he started following me. We followed each other on Instagram, and I think it was a connection that we made. And that I started following just different people he knew as well. And so he reached out and said, hey, I'm curious if you want to grab some lunch. We ended up going right, near here and grabbed some lunch. And we got to talking, and he said, if it's okay with you, if it works out with whoever you're employed with right now, would it be cool if you just hopped on the show real quick? And I was like, sure, no problem. We can make that work. And I had a great time working with him on the last 2 shows that he's done. And it was really cool just kind of get to share, my viewpoint on not just sports, but my career and ways things have gone, and also share my viewpoint on how, what's going on with the Cowboys, what's going on with the Spurs, as we're moving into the latest topics of sports, as we were talking on that show. And it seems like he's doing really good with what he's got going on and stuff. And I don't think I would have the notoriety in this area to even get on the show if it wasn't for you and for Locked On Spurs. And so
thank you, Nick.
We connected so long ago. So it was kind of like a moment of me being able to kind of, make sure that people were known about Locked On Spurs as well.
Thank you for that. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So things are going. That was a great experience, and Mike was so generous in having me on. And when it comes to Fair to Compare, the show that we have on TikTok, me and my buddy Darren Zaslow. I was thinking of somebody else when I was just mentioning that. So Darren Zaslow and I went to Northwestern together for grad school and journalism school. He and I have always been guys who like just make up stuff, who just have fun. Like at one point, we had the campus for Northwestern is downtown in Chicago, and it's on I think the 20th floor of this one building downtown. And we had to look over the river. And at one point, we did a show just on Snapchat called The Boat Show, where we said, Darren, that looks like it might be a group of tourists and stuff. They're bathing. What do you see? And then he would go into his announcer voice and be like, Nick, absolutely incredible performance by them. It looks like they got chairs and refreshments.
That is hilarious.
And so we would just have fun stuff like that. And so I reached out to him recently, and I was like, hey, look, I'm doing a lot of different podcasts and different things. let's do something. He came up with the whole idea of fair to compare.
Yeah.
Comparing somebody in an athlete in a pro sports league with a random item. So say we'll take Chick-fil-A and the NBA, right? So which player in the NBA is Chick-fil-A for you? Who would you say, Jeff?
Well, I think I told you this before. I think I would give it Chris Paul.
There you go.
Chick-fil-A is available every day except for one day. Same thing with Chris Paul. He's available throughout the regular season except for one moment, the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And so it's moments like that. We just have like little, two sentences type of responses and stuff. Just kind of get something funny out there and get people to think about something that they would refer to a certain player in a certain way. So it's been something we're really enjoying lately. We're having a lot of fun with it. And it's also a way for he and I to connect and just kind of check in with each other and to support each other. And so we're hoping it blows up. So follow us on TikTok and Instagram and look up fair to compare. And hopefully you guys enjoy all the fun videos we're doing.
And you still got the iHeart thing going, right?
Yeah, iHeart's doing good. Everything's going good with that. And everything's kind of the same updates and stuff that we've been doing on the weekends and stuff. So things are going swimmingly. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. He is Tim Duncan he is Nick Mantas.
Confused once again. Because just like David Elder
because I'm thinking Hall of Fame. You see, I'm thinking Hall of Fame. So I'm thinking Nick. Oh, wait, Nick's not there yet.
Interesting. Well played.
Yeah, well played. Now, kidding aside again. He is Nick Mantas of iHeart Radio and Fair to Compare on Instagram. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Nick__Mantas. Do it right now. And again, check him out on his spots on the Mike Taylor Show on YouTube. Just go on YouTube, search Mike Taylor Show, and there he is. Nick. By the way, I didn't realize how jacked you were.
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm not picking on you. And then I was watching your segment, and you're talking about how you're a strength and conditioning coach, and the way you talk about weightlifting, just throw weight around. Okay, well, you throw weight around.
Weight dominate you. You have to dominate the weight, man. You got to just,
He's getting me pumped to go to the gym after this.
Right, exactly. I'm about to hit the gym right after this.
You know what? It's funny. Soon we might run into each other down there.
Oh yeah.
That's where we're always black to hide the pot belly.
There you go. It's always very slimming color.
Yeah, but anyway, again, Nick Mantas, iHeart Radio. Make sure to follow him on Twitter and Instagram. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes. The list goes on and on. Ken's 5 Plus app. Yeah, a couple days ago, Nick and I were on TV. Sent him a screenshot about it. They go, hey, Ken's is playing our show right now on TV. Cool. Yeah. So you can definitely check us out on the Ken's 5 Plus app. And you guys are the everydayers. Again, we're still in off-season mode, as you can tell. Just about 2 to 3 episodes a week. But we'll be back on Monday, likely to wrap up Hall of Fame weekend. What we liked, what we didn't like, who made us cry. And also, we want to hear from you. Is Nick out of his freaking mind?
Let me know.
Bruce Boeing?
Blow me up. Let me know what's going on.
I mean, my goodness. Am I out of my mind for picking LMA? Let me know on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. But for Nick Mantas, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.